Hello, everybody, and to start 2025, we are reviewing every single 2024 movie I saw and reviewing them from worst to best. But starting with the worst, we are reviewing this week is Madam Web. It came out on Valentine's Day, and I did not see this movie, and I'm sure you probably didn't either. And I don't even think any of the actresses like this movie as well. But apparently this is part of the Sony Marvelverse. So we didn't really get many Marvel movies this year, other than Deadpool and Wolverine, the big one, and the rest are just these Sony movies. It's like they're concluding the Sonyverse, because I think Kraven the Hunter's the last of the Sonyverse movies. Other than that, it's the Venom movies, Morbius, which is the best movie ever made, and Madam Web. So, Madam Web, I gotta say, was super disappointing. It was easily probably worse than Morbius. But honestly, I just don't see the point of these Sonyverse movies. It's like they're trying to build a Spider-Man cinematic universe, but without Spider-Man. And Madam Web, I might as well talk about my history with the character. I don't really know much about the character other than she creates a plot line for Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse stories. I remember her in Shattered Dimensions. That's what I remember her fondly. And the 90s Spider-Man show voiced by Stan Lee's wife. Rest in peace. But in this movie, it basically tells the origin of Madam Web and kind of the origin of how Peter Parker became born. But the movie's mainly about this girl named Cassie Webb, who's apparently having psychic powers because her mother, back in the day, was apparently a explorer who found a genetic spider and apparently was ambushed by some guy, and it had, I think, like a tribe of people had her get bitten by the spider, and then she somehow, when she gave birth to Cassie years later, she now has these psychic powers. And the movie takes place in 2003 for some reason, and she basically teams up with these three teenage girls, who are all adults, by the way, in real life. We got Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Moner. I forget the other actress's name. We got... I'm looking. Maybe we don't have time, but... yeah, apparently they're all based on Spider-Man's allies. Like, they're basically the Spider-Women. So this is basically the free Spider-Man, but this time we got the Spider-Women. And people didn't like this movie, but when we saw them in No Way Home, the free Spider-Man, people loved it, which is ironic. So, I don't know. But the main villain of this movie, apparently is a Spider-Man villain, and he's this dude who doesn't even wear shoes. He basically is just an evil Spider-Man who apparently had a dream of these Spider-Women attacking him and killing him, and now he's on a hunt to kill these girls. And Madam Web basically gathers them up after having psychic visions of them in the subway, and she keeps coming up with various scenarios of how to save them, and she keeps sort of rewinding time. It's very convoluted, but she does look through her mom's old notes and apparently discovers the whole wall crawl thing that Spider-Man does, and she tries it. And by the way, Spider-Man was apparently supposed to be in this movie. He's like in some concept art, but which doesn't even make sense since this movie is a prequel. And we do see, I think, Peter Parker's mom, and she's played by Emma Roberts. I'm surprised Emma Roberts said yes to this movie. People even got mad at her all because she said this movie failed because of the memes. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But But apparently this is like before he was born, like I said, and we even see Uncle Ben, and I don't know why the guy who played him, I did not realize that was Uncle Ben. But apparently this is before he got shot, and then that's what leads to Peter Parker to become Spider-Man. But it's mainly about these women getting chased by this barefoot villain guy. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I'm not good with names. But this guy's going after them, and Madam Web takes them to the woods, and the three girls end up going to a restaurant after feeling abandoned, and they party with some random teenagers sitting at the diner they go to, and then various scenarios keep happening where the villain keeps murdering them, and Madam Web has to prevent it, but eventually she finds a way by running over the man with a taxi. She even steals one and almost gets arrested earlier in the movie for trying to kidnap them. Well, not intentionally, she's trying to save them. But the rest of the movie is her just protecting them until Mary Parker has to give birth to Peter Parker. And they don't even say his name. Even at the baby shower, they were even trying to guess it. They were going to say Ben Parker, which could be a reference to Ben Reilly or Uncle Ben. But they go to the hospital. They take Emma Roberts to the hospital, but they're ambushed by the villain. I'm going to look on the cast list real quick. So I think his name is Urkel Sims. I don't know that name. But apparently Madam Web also went on a self-discovery journey where she goes into the woods of the jungle her mom went to, and they even tried to change the whole "with great power comes great responsibility." They tried changing it to "with responsibility power will come" or something. I forget how the guy says it. She meets one of the natives there, and we even see like a tribe of these sort of spider creatures or something. But eventually, later in the movie, it all comes down to a finale at the building, on some building, and we learn how Madam Web becomes blind, because if you don't know in the comics, she becomes blind, and it's not because of some mystic stuff, it's because she gets hit by fireworks, which is a weird way of getting powers. But she gets her powers, and the Spider-Women don't even become Spider-Women. That's my big issue with the movie. Why are they setting up these girls as becoming the Spider-Women, but we don't even see them become the Spider-Women until like some vision where we do see them as them, but we don't even know if they're going to become them. They don't even get like superpowers or anything. They're just there to be protected by Dakota Johnson. But our fellow villain gets defeated, and I guess Madam Web decides to adopt the girls, because earlier in the movie they revealed that their parents are not really there for them. Like one of them, I think their dad got deported and the mom passed away, and I think most of them the other ones are just busy or something. I don't know. But the movie ends with the vision, and then that's Madam Web. It was a really bad movie. I think they really just made this movie just for money. And if you saw this movie, I hope you had a good time, or not. I really doubt anyone did, but I give this movie probably a 4 out of 10. I mean, it does explore some of the Spider-Man lore, but you kind of just don't care because they just made this movie just to make it. But at least we got the Venom trilogy, but Sony should honestly just focus on Spider-Man. I mean, Venom's fine, but they're done with the Venom stuff. But yeah, we don't need a Madam Web 2. We probably do need a Morbius 2, but I feel like I've rambled on with this movie. So yeah, next review, I forget. I'd have to look. It may be Miller's Girl or one of the newer SpongeBob movies. We'll have to wait and see. So that being said, thanks for watching,